Okay, so can all of you see my screen? Can I start?
Yes.
Okay, right. So I'm going to work with queries. So here we go. Let me just add, let's say, customers. And let me add, let's say, the following details: the customer ID, surname. I can have is the birthday because I want to discuss such kind of things, and C number. Here we go. So let's say, I think so we did discuss the ORs. We discussed the OR and the AND, didn't we? Between the fields, remember, or the OR and the AND?
Yes, sir.
Right, we discussed that. So the wildcards basically mean, let me repeat that again. Wildcards is really important. I want to find all the surname that basically start with B. So what we do is we always type B star. B star means that it should start with B, and star basically means, actually I should see whom I'm, okay. Right. So B star basically represents all your 256 characters basically. So while we write B star, it means it should begin with B, and whatever comes after B, we are ignoring that. We don't really need that. So obviously, if I run this, I get all the names that basically begin with B. So anything that you want to begin with, you write B, A, whatever, and then afterwards you write star. And if you want to find all the characters that end with something, you write a star that character. For example, ending with B, you'll write star B. I hope that's clear. And then what we have is, I want to find all the names that have A as a second character. A as a second character. So for that we use the question mark. So I write question mark A star. Now one thing very important about this is that your question mark and star are your two wildcards. Okay? Urvataj is our student, right? So whenever you use two wildcards together, you will basically put them in double quotes. Now, if I give me an error, please look at this. It's really important. So I need to put this in double quotes. I'll put this in double quotes, and I need to put this in double quotes, right? So if I run this, I get all the names that have A as second character, as you can see. Very interesting. So how is this working? Well, this is the way it's working. I'll just paste all these in Notepad today so that you know what I'm doing. Oh, sorry, not this one. I copied this one. Control C. And here we go, Control V. What is this happening? Control V. Seriously? So, I repeat again, we need to put the double quotes ourselves whenever we are using two wildcards together. One wildcard is the question mark, the other wildcard is the star. So you please do remember this. Okay, this could be really important. So you can find any particular character wherever it's appearing. So these are things that you have to focus on. Comparison operators you are very well aware of: less than, equal to, greater than, equal to. These are your normal comparison operators. If you have any price, any age, and you want to find, let's say, any price which is greater than 70, you write greater than 70. If it's less than 70, you write this. Okay. If you want to write greater.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, beta, sure.
Sir, if we want third alphabet as eighth, what we will do?
Can someone answer me that? Can someone answer me that? Third as A?
Will we add two question marks?
We'll have two question marks, A and star. Exactly. Very good. The reason why is because, why am I entering two question marks? Because I don't know what these two characters will be. They could be anything. Frankly, it's not my concern. My concern is that the third character needs to be A. So question mark basically does what? Let me write this over here. Type it. As far as your star is concerned, it means any of the 256 characters that you have, any of them. But when you talk about question mark, it means any one, any one of the 256 characters that you have. So, which means star means there could be 2, there could be 200. I'm not just an exaggeration, but obviously there could be as many as possible. But as far as question mark is concerned, it's just one character, any or one of the 256. So if you want your 6th character to be A, obviously you will put 5 question marks before A, so on and so. Is it clear, beta? Who asked the question?
Yes.
Right, good. I appreciate, keep on asking me. That's the, okay. It makes the class important as well. Okay, let me proceed further. So I was just talking about comparison operators. You are well aware of the comparison operators as well. Okay. For example, let's say I run this and I delete some of my records. We should be aware of this as well. I've deleted 3 records. Okay. Now what if I deleted the surname? If I want to show all those surnames which are blank, I'll write is null. Is null mean show me all those that have null value. So run, it will show me 3 of these which are empty. And if I write over here is null, and if I want is not null, means I will ignore those which are empty. So I'll not get any surnames which basically tend to be empty. Okay, so is null, is blank, or is not null. So we can even have is not null, right? So this is what we have. Okay, basically understanding the question at times is a bit tricky as far as your databases and spreadsheets, Excel is concerned. Most of the time you will be able to get the question, but at times the examiner will make the question a bit tricky. You just have to make sure whatever you're doing is according to the question paper. So always after applying a particular criteria, you run and see that whatever criteria you've applied, are you getting the exact output? Okay, so every time please confirm this. You need to verify. If we fail to verify at times, this is where the problem is. We are always too much confident that that this can happen. So you need to be careful about this particular thing. So we discussed this as well. Runtime calculations, pretty important. Runtime calculation means that, remember one thing, that this CEC number that I have, basically, if I perform any mathematical calculation on this, I'll get an error. The reason being is, if I have a number, just like the customer ID, do you realize the customer ID is appearing on the right-hand side? And this CC number is appearing basically on the left-hand side, which means the CC number is basically not a number, it's in text form. So always remember, your number has to appear on the right-hand side. If it appears on the right-hand side, then it will be treated as an integer, as a number, as a value. If it appears on the left-hand side, it's not a number. Okay, this happens to be the same concept in Excel, in spreadsheets. In a spreadsheet, if you have any value that seems to look like a number, but it appears on the left-hand side, it's basically not a number, it's a text form. Okay, so I just wanted to do some calculation on it. If I had some number, let me just see. No, I don't, but it's fine. We can carry on. I think so. You do know, even if I don't explain, that I can create a new field at runtime, a new field. For example, if I have, let's say, price, I don't have it right now. I could have divide by 2. So I'll have a new price, which is half of the actual price. Okay, so you are aware of this, right? All of you. That's how we create a new field. Okay, and I could even add something to it. For example, 100 I could add to it. I could probably subtract it with some other field as well. Okay, whatever field that you have. So these basic mathematical calculations can be performed. Remember one thing, that whenever you have a field, it needs to be in your square parentheses. This is your square parentheses. Okay, that's it. This is what represents your database field. This basically represents your functions. This basically represents your scripting. Maybe I've discussed this before, but I will keep on re-emphasizing on this. Please remember this. Whenever you have to represent a database field, it has to be in the square parentheses. Whenever you have a function type, it has to be in these brackets. Any scripting such as CSS that we have done, or JavaScripting in A levels, this will be in your curly parentheses. Are we clear on this, all of you? These are some very crucial points.
Yes, sir.
Good, good, good. Okay, so let me carry on. So this is how we'll do this. The reason why I was interested in adding the birthday was, maybe we have discussed this before, but I'll do it again today. I want to find out the total age of the customers. So what I need to do is I have over here a field by the name of today. Okay, so I can say is today. And if I run this, oh, sorry, not today, I can use is now. If I run this, I get today's date and time. Okay, but if I use over here is not today, just the date function, I get today's date. Perfectly fine. Why am I interested in this? I'll tell you why. I want to do is that if I want to calculate, let's say, the age, I would do is today minus a field which is your birthday. So here we go. If I run this, I get the age. This age basically it's in days. This is 1962. This means if we count the number of days from 1962 till today, there were 21,460 days have passed by. But if I want to convert this into obviously year, I will be doing this is I will be dividing this by 365. And once I do this, I do get the years, but this is basically not whole number. So I can use int, which means integer. So I can use int to convert this to an integer. So here we go. I get the age. Very interesting, isn't it? So all I do is, let me just copy it here, and I would ask you to just have a look what I've done. Is there any confusion regarding this? Anyone? So that's how we create a new field. We just learned about the date function that helps us to give us today's date. This was an existing field where I had multiple dates, the birthdays of employees. I subtracted today's date with this. Out of this, I got was the number of days. I don't want the number of days, I want year. So I divided the entire thing by 365. Once I divide the entire thing by say 365, I need to convert it into a whole number. In order to convert into a whole number, I use int. Is it clear, beta, everyone? I can pause and I can wait for your questions.
Sir, what if we write now instead of date?
Now beta actually means if I use now gives me today's. Let me create a new field now. Okay, very good. Let me discuss this as well. This gives me today's date and time. Since you asked the question, for example, I want to extract the minute. So I'll write the minute function, okay, and inside the minute function, I will write is now. Oh, sorry, not now. I'll write is NOW as a field. So let's see what happens. So the minute right now is this, it's 18. So it's what is it doing? Let's have a look. What is it doing? If you look over here, I just created a new field at runtime that is doing what from a field that I just created before this. so that you don't have a confusion, let me paste this over here. A field that I just created before. Now, since it's a field, I put it in in these square parentheses. It tells me the minute of right now. So now can help me to get what? It can help me to get the year. It can help me to get the month, the day, the hour, okay, the minute, and the second. And all this that I get will basically be right now. Now these are advanced things. These are advanced things. They have not appeared in your papers, okay? Because I don't teach you with reference to the past papers only. Okay, we have to prepare what might come in the upcoming exams in 2021. So you have to know all this what I'm teaching you. Be sure you know all this. And those who missed the class, not good. They could have told me, so we will not be here or something, whatever. Achha, any question? Is this clear? Anyone? Any doubt?
Sir, date is basically a function, right?
It's a built-in function, exactly just like in Excel.
Yes. So, sir, what is integer? Isn't it a function?
It is also a built-in function. It is same. It's a built-in function.
Sir, why don't we use brackets after it? Okay.
We do. If you remember, we use int and we have to put bracket. But what we usually do is we put the field name. Nabi Ahmed is our class fellow. Is your class fellow, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because I don't want to enter anyone else. So int, yes, int is a function as well. We use the brackets over there as well. Okay. Right?
Okay, thank you, sir.
We can even use is round. Remember what round is? We can use round, and I can have any field over here, and comma 2 means round it to 2 decimal places. So I can use round as well. You know the basic difference between int and round? Anyone? Why do we have to use round and int? Okay, first of all, that int will basically convert into whole number. You're right. And as far as round is concerned, I can use round to either round it up to a whole number by saying comma 0, or I could specify the decimal places by saying 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, how many decimal places. Absolutely fine. This is one of the basic difference. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Excel as both. The same concept goes in Excel as well, okay? The round thing. But the major difference that you will find between round and integer is that if you use int to convert 2.89, it will round it down. Int will do that. Okay? If you write 2.11, it will still round it down to 2. So this will be rounded down to 2, and this will be rounded down to 2. So that's what int does. But if you use the round function with comma 0, I'm saying, is quite intelligent that it will know that if I write 2.11, it will round it down. And if I write 2.89, it will round it up. Even if I write 2.51, it will round it up. So you get the difference between, and this, I repeat again, this concept goes for databases and spreadsheets both. Remember that. Is this clear, everyone? Now, whatever I'm doing, I'll share the video lecture with you. You should know this. You can practice this. Whatever I do, you have to sit down after this lecture, and I want you to practice it. Not today, but please before the next class. Next class we have our session by the way, but make sure you practice all this. Okay. Obviously, I'll be giving you my activity on Thursday. I will be giving you past paper. Let me be honest in that. I will be giving you my activities after your send-up exams. Okay, because if I give you my activities right now, I don't want to discourage some of the candidates or students. They might say this is not fair. Okay, whatever. So is it clear, beta? Anyone any question till here? Can I proceed further now?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? Okay, good. Okay, so what we have is we've discussed our runtime calculations, making a new favorite runtime, perfectly fine. We've done all that. After that, you obviously have to create a report. There are various different ways. You could use the report wizard. You could directly click on the report. Oh, what's wrong with that? What did I do wrong? What is it saying? If I preview this output, okay, let me just create a report. So I can name it. Okay, I'll name it obviously as my report heading, name, or title that I have. I have too much. So okay, that's what I have. Obviously, there's a lot of extra gaps that I have. Why am I getting so many gaps? I'll make it again. Okay, so I'll go to create report. Still why? Okay, anyway, I will simply reduce. I don't know why does this happen. Anyway, this could be because of anything I probably tampered with the excess. It will not happen with you. So you just have to reduce the size. Obviously, you know that. You have to make sure it's landscape or portrait. So you need to do some adjustment. It should obviously not have this gap that I have over here. Okay, obviously not. The important thing is that this extra space that you have, if you print it out, what will happen is, for example, if I print preview this, you will have an extra page coming in every time. Why is that so? You need to go to the design view and you will see over here. Let me just bring this over here. You'll see I have a lot of extra space over here. I just need to drag this till extreme left. Now, if I print preview this, okay, you would see is that I still have, but why is that so? Okay, it's still out of the boundary. One second. I'll reduce it more. That extra space should not come, obviously not. Do it over here. See, even the bit, if a bit of it, this is going out of the boundary, it will basically create a lot of disturbance. So we have to reduce it so that does not come out. Now it should not. So if I preview the next pages, I don't have anyway. Something's wrong with my access report. I was tampering with some settings. Anyway, you're not faced that. The next thing, obviously, if you want to find is the total age. So I can right click and say total sum. You'll get the total sum at the very bottom. Okay, a lot of data actually over here. So I get the total sum. If you want is the average, right click total, you get the average, or the count the records, the maximum or the minimum. What's going at the back end basically is that if you go to view, design view, you will see is this. You have this sum function and this is what's happening. If you want to implement this on your own, you can, no problem with that. You can. All you need to do is, let me just get rid of this extra. All you need to do is just use is a text box over here, and you can just write over here is equals to sum function, and I want is the age. Since age is a field name, it goes in the square parentheses and it's inside a function on a sum. This means I will get this. So I have a label that is here. So the label is accompanying my text box. So whenever you add a text box, you get a label for free. So here you go. Now you can print preview. And if I obviously, I'll not go to print preview, let's say report preview. If I go at the very end, I would see the same answer that I was getting before. That's how I can do it. The reason why I'm telling you to do this is because at times the examiner might ask you for a proof or might ask you some other question through which you should know how to implement it on your own. So that's how basically we work with reports. right? And then we have the discussion of forms. Well, forms, again, a way of entering data. For example, the examiner might say that you're supposed to create a form of this, no problem. Just go to create and click on form. Obviously, your form is created. You just need to do is add buttons to this, for example. Then I'll talk about the rest of things. What I would do is I'll add navigation buttons at the bottom. Don't worry, it's being recorded. For those of you who have confusion, I'll share. Go to the first record, add text, not clip arts. Go to the last record. So your navigation buttons basically tend to come at the bottom of your form. That's the professional way, and that's the way it should be done. And go to the previous record. You have to make sure that the button that you made are of the quite the same size and they're aligned properly. So I'll put them exactly in the center just to give it a more professional look. So here what I have is I can go to my next record, I can go to previous records, and so on, so, right? Then I will add my command buttons over here. So first of all, I will do is I will add is in the record operation, add new record. So next, add a record. And then what I would do is I would add over here record operation, save the record. I hope I'm not talking to myself. Okay. Am I talking to myself?
No, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. So if I come here, I could say add a new record and I could add multiple things, whatever. Sorry, but this is supposed to be date. So here we go. So I could save it. I could save it. Obviously, this will be saved in my customer table at the back end. So that's how you make a form. You can actually add what you say, a drop-down menu over here for the age or for the minutes or whatever. For example, if one want is what I can have. Let's say the age as a drop-down menu. I can do is I can use from here is a combo box. Here you go. And let's say the examiner says that you should have a combo box over here. Drag it. I want to get the values from another table. Yes. Or I could type in the values myself as well. Okay. You could even select the second option. Next. Now this was in the customer, I believe. And the age. No, age was not there. Sorry. What should I do? Anyway, I'll just add the birthday, for example. And I would like the values to be stored where? This was, I can use age. So next, and I would like this to be stored back in age. Finish. So I have this, instead of my text box, I have a drop down and I can select from here the ages that I have, okay? Right, that's what I can basically do. So this is how basically you end up making a form, okay? I will share with you yet another video, advanced video, not like very advanced, about forms, where more discussion has been done. So this is all your access. Okay, you randomly do more papers and be in touch with me. You can discuss in the WhatsApp group. Okay, if you don't get something, if you are solving a paper and if you can't solve the paper, please do let me know. I will share the video solution of that paper. So that's the way we are practicing till Thursday. Next.
Sir, could you suggest a past paper that we could do before the exam, which covers everything?
Okay. For access.
Yes, sir, for access.
Okay. Just give me an hour. After an hour, I'll text you like 2 to 3 important papers that you should attempt. Okay. I'll just have a look which one you should, and then you can attempt those, and then you can get back to me if there's an issue.
Sir?
Yes, beta.
Sir, can you please discuss labels?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for reminding. Yes, yes, yes. I just forgot. Labels basically are what? Let's say I have this query and I want to make labels. Labels are just like your report. Okay. So it's just another way. So you can make labels with two columns. You could make labels with three columns. If I want two columns, I can select from here two. Okay. And I could add any heading over here. I could add the customer ID and shift the field, add the given name and then shift the field. Obviously, if I just shift the field, obviously no one will know that what that particular field is. So on and so. I'll just not type, I'll just shift them, I'll just shift them. So if I proceed further, I get this. These are my labels. This is my one record, the second record, third record. That's the way your labels basically are. So it's a kind of a report, but in report, your records are displayed row-wise. In labels, they are displayed in a block content. You could go to the back end of this and you could, let's say, make your heading bold. Okay. Beta, I will be sharing the video lecture of this. Or should I repeat again the entire process? I will share the video lecture. And one second. If you want, I can repeat. Otherwise, you will get the lecture tonight. Right, beta. Okay. So here we go. We have this. That's your label. We've talked about it before as well. So labels are just like your report. You need to preview them in the print preview. Okay. I would like you to do some adjustment. For example, you can see over here there's some extra space. Yeah, for like extraordinary work, I would advise you to do something is that you try to shift it this way, reduce the size, and try to make sure that it's somewhere in quite the center of the page. That will be an added advantage. Okay, you see it's in the center. It should not be in the extreme right, extreme left, extreme top, bottom. Even if the examiner does not mention, there's something that you need to be careful about. You get my point. Obviously, when you look at the printout, you will know yourself how it might be looking. Although in such a kind of thing, marks are not deducted, but let's say for distinction, this is what you need to do. You get the point. Inshallah, January onward, I will be discussing with you all those points for us to work for distinction. Okay, we can inshallah work on that. Okay, I can make all of you to prepare for it. बाकी फिर अल्लाह की मर्जी है इंशाल्लाह आ गया तो very good. ठीक है? Anyone any question? If you still have any question, do mention the WhatsApp group. I will share a video lecture of that particular point again with you. Is that fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 1 second, beta, let me mark your attendance because it's still important for me to do that. This is basically 11 B and D, am I right? Is this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, B and D, right. Okay, beta, all the best. Okay, all the best, prepare really well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, sir. Allah Hafiz.
Okay, welcome, Allah Hafiz.